Pandora friends, my name's Leanne and I'm mad for Pandora. Welcome back to another video. Today I would like to share my Australian Winter 2025 bracelet with you. Now in Australia it's quite cold here, and I mean not as cold as some places get, but definitely pretty nippy. So I've come up with a beautiful design for winter this year. And it has taken me quite a long time to get it, so I'm happy with it. So it's got texture and colour and balance and all the things I like to do in a bracelet. Now we did have sales recently, so I did pick up another one of these little snowflakes. I haven't actually shown you anything that I bought in those sales, but hopefully I will do another video with that. So as you know, I hauled these gorgeous opals last year and I did have them on my Christmas bracelet. And I was hoping to do something during the year, so they weren't just for Christmas, but I got to enjoy them on other bracelets. So my plan always was that I would try and incorporate them with beautiful dark blues. But they are a funny thing to do because they're green in some light and blue in other lights, and yeah, it's been fun designing with them to try and get some sort of balance to this bracelet. So I have made this bracelet on the beautiful Moments two-tone Signature Clasp. Now this is one of my favorite clasps. They're just really nice. Nice to wear, easy to put on. Sort of wish I'd got more when they discontinued them because they came up for the longest time. Now the safety chain that I have, they've recently retired these for what seems like the second time round. So this was my original one and it's just called the Pave Inspiration Safety Chain. They did seem to bring them back and they've just, I think they're retiring them again, which I really can't understand what's going on with that. But anyway, they were on our recent sales. So this is a really good safety chain, even though I don't like a lot of bling. This one seems to stay fairly well on the threads and it just adds that little bit of bling, but because it's sort of got a bit of oxidized detail, it's not super flashy. Now this bracelet is exactly the same on both sides, so I might as well just go from the top to the bottom. Now the beautiful spacers that I've ended up adding on the ends are great because they're actually threaded. And these ones are really old and they're called Her Majesty Spacers. And these are the clear CZ version. Now there was also purple and I have a feeling pink as well, but these ones are really good. And I just love having something on the end. Even though I have the safety chain, I love having a threaded charm on the end. I was originally putting a blue spacer on the end that was also threaded, but I just didn't like how much blue and how many little like the thin spaces. I wasn't really happy with the design. So when I popped these on, I thought, I actually really like that. So it's not usually my go-to to put a spacer on the end, but I think in this case it really sort of suits what I'm doing. Now I did end up getting these other snowflake charms last year, and I noticed on our sale they seem to be discontinuing them. Maybe they were down to $20. I didn't get any more. I was a bit tempted, but money was really short, so I've just got the two. Now these are very lightweight, but they're quite a large charm and they do make quite a statement on a bracelet. And what I like about them is they're sort of snowflake, sort of stars. They've got the stars on the side, which is really cool. So you could pretty much put them in either style bracelet. But I just love the fact that they've got lots of beaded type details without like cubic zirconias or anything like that. Because of course with this bracelet I was hoping to make it so it wasn't like heaps and heaps of cubic zirconias and tone it down a bit. So these ones are just called Celestial Snowflake charms. And the next ones I've got were quite popular, I think, at the time, but I noticed some of them, there's a bit of blue sort of that goes across the snowflakes with the enamel. So I think they must have had a few faults when they were doing these, but I think mine are pretty good. I did buy them on I think they were when they were discontinuing a few years ago. But it's a really nice sort of blue enamel. And I really do like them, and they help to really tone down the bracelet. These ones are just called Wintry Delight, and I was looking in one of the catalogues and it says new in 2017. So that's when they came out. And I believe these ones were screw on as well. Originally I was trying to put these at the back of the bracelet, so, you know, because they were screw on, I was trying to get ones that were threaded. And yeah, I didn't like sort of having the bulk of the blue at the back. So they ended up in between these other snowflakes. And then I have, thanks to the sale, a second one of these little dangly snowflakes. Now these ones are called Icy Snowflake Drop, and I really love these ones. As you can see, they've got so much detail, they really do, and they've got a little tiny crystal or something in the middle, and one on every snowflake. And the 3 snowflakes are actually different, and I love the top of it. It's very, very cool. And if I can find the other side, you'll see the other side, you can see they don't have quite so much of the stone, but you can see the different shapes of the snowflakes. But yeah, I really do love this one. So having 2 will help me to be able to create a balanced design and not have to either have it in the middle, or I had tried like putting them on my bangle and just having the one, but yeah, I really did want to put it on this bracelet, so I'm glad I was able to do that with the second one. And then of course I have these beautiful little spacers. I believe these were like called ice crystal or something like that. Anyway, they're really pretty blue. They are quite bright, and they do have the different shape charms, stones. So you've got the long one and then you've got the round one. They did create an actual charm with these on, and yeah, I kind of regret not getting it because that was beautiful. And then I also have these beautiful, very, very old clips, and you've seen me use these for my Christmas bracelet and lots of different designs. They are just so beautiful. I'm so glad to have them in my collection. And these are called Winter Wonderland clips, and they've just got the gold. So I don't have a lot of gold on this bracelet, but I did balance the clips and the actual bracelet. And then of course I've got these beautiful opals. Now these are just called Opalescent Green Charm, but they're a man-made opal and they're green and blue. So depending on the light, like at the moment they look really green, but if you go out in the sun and stuff like that, they go really blue. So they're a very, very odd charm really. They actually call them one colour, but because they've got 2 colours, it's sort of like a little bit trippy with the way you design a bracelet. So, but I am very, very happy to have them. And then in the front I have these beautiful sparkly charms. Now I am liking that they're not super shiny, and they're just called Snow Fury, and these also came out in 2017. So they're very much like a snowflake in their design. Actually quite unusual, and it's not the usual charm that I go for, but I'm happy to have some form of bling on this bracelet, which is really nice. And they fit really well in the middle because, as you know, on this bracelet I have clip stations to work with. And then this gorgeous dangle in the middle was actually a limited edition. You can call it a Black Friday or a Christmas charm. In Australia we sort of called them Christmas charms more than the Black Friday ones. And I think by then they weren't really necessarily calling them a Black Friday charm. But this has got beautiful blue enamel and cubic zirconias, and I really like the design. Now I find it really hard to design at Christmas with this because I don't have any other blue Christmas charms apart from if I add like the spacers or the snowflake designs. So I've added it onto the front of this bracelet because I wanted to create more balance with the blue. And I kind of wish I had two because again I sort of have to have it in the middle to get the balance. So this one's 2019 and they just call it Pandora Christmas Ornament. Now it does have a cute little star there, and I love the way they did the veil. It does have the hallmarks on it somewhere. Trying to find these things is not the easiest. The year stamp is in there somewhere if you can see it. Very, very tricky to see. And you might see more things on the actual camera on the video than what I can see with my naked eye. But yeah, I really do love the way this ended up looking. And I also have just the little snowflake earrings that I wear quite a lot. I will put the codes for most of these things in my description. But yeah, I get a lot of use out of these in winter or even at Christmas time. And I have the other Black Friday charms on my earrings. So these ones are from 2013. And these ones called Let It Snow. So they really go with these earrings. They're exactly the same snowflake design. And then of course I also have the matching necklace, which I have put on this beautiful little heart chain. Now they have brought out a shorter version of this recently, and it's a very delicate chain, and you can't put, like, you basically can only fit like a pendant style pendant on it. But yeah, you don't want to put too much weight on this because it is so delicate. I think this one's 60 centimeters and the new one, I'm pretty sure it's about 45. But it's a lovely, lovely chain. And then I do have my beautiful limited edition bangle from Christmas a few years ago. And this is probably maybe my favorite out of all the limited edition bangles that they've had. It does flip a fair bit though, so you've got both sides. But yeah, this one's a really nice one, and I love the flatter style. So that's just a size 17. Now, I did have a viewer ask about how to put on a regular bracelet, and I thought I might as well do it with this video because I'm not sure when I'll get to record another bracelet. So I designed my bracelet with the clasp on this side, so facing me. And then I usually do dangles down and charms facing up. I mean, obviously that's a personal preference, but I find it easier if I put the clasp on this side. And because I use a safety chain, pretty much all my bracelets will have a safety chain unless they're like only got like 1 or 2 charms on them. And I also do like the threaded bracelets as much as possible. So you start with a threaded safety chain with the threaded bracelet, and then it's much easier to not have to worry about whether you're going to drop your bracelet on the floor. Obviously, watch out for whether that's screwed on enough when you start the process. But you can like stand up and do it, or you can sort of lay your bracelet on something. But I use my other fingers. Sometimes it's easier if you put it up your arm a little bit, so I might swap these around. It's not as easy doing it on the table. So I just use my other fingers, and it doesn't matter if you make a few mistakes because you've got the safety chain and you're doing it on a table, and I just use my fingers to sort of hold on to it. And as you know, this hand isn't that good to work with, and some days are harder than others, but I just pop the end of the bracelet in the clasp, and then I just click it shut. It's definitely easier to work with if you have a safety chain because, as you know, with bracelets, they have a way that they will want to bend easily, and then they have a way that they won't. If you have the safety chain already there, it can only go one way. And if you don't, you can't. So it could sort of go any way and you could accidentally kink your bracelet. So I definitely love safety chains. So this is what it looks like. And obviously the same on both sides. I think it looks very, very nice, and I'm enjoying wearing it. So to take it off, I just put my nail in there. Also, some clasps are easier to deal with than others. This is very much the same as the regular barrel. If you find your safety chain is coming undone or going the wrong way or wanting to wind off, just change the direction of the safety chain. Unless, of course, it's one of those ones where the design only goes one way, but you just get it into whatever position you want. But I'll show you what I mean about the bracelet. See how if I bend it that way, it doesn't even want to go together. So if I was trying to put that on my arm and it wasn't wanting to actually go together nice and well fitted, it would just be really difficult. It doesn't matter if your safety chain gets a little bit knotted when you're putting it together. The most important thing is to make sure that the bracelet wants to go the way that it wants to go. Like, don't force it and don't push against it, because it has a way it wants to make a circle, and then it has a way that it will fight the circle. So again, if you want to keep watching, this is mostly for the lady who has asked. So I don't recommend doing it on a table because it's way harder than doing it against your own body. So you just use your other fingers to put it in place. And then it should fit quite well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I've just got the Heart of Winter ring and a couple of these really old. These used to be the like the birthstone type rings, so I only ever got a couple of these, and I'm not a huge fan of the white one, but I definitely like the little blue one. And then recently I picked up one of the September lapis birthday bloom rings, so that's just in a 54, and then I've got my beautiful little heart band. So just a fairly simple design, and it's all about the bracelet really, isn't it? I definitely like the way I've done the bracelet. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well and staying safe, and if you're somewhere where it's cold, I hope you're keeping warm. Until next time, take care.